we have with us in the Pupil Career Talk series, Mr. Karthik Nagarajan, Chief Content Officer, Wavemaker. He's here to introduce us to digital media marketing and its dimensions. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Karthik, and happy to have you with us today. The Pupil Savita Eco School started in the year 2012 under the flagship of Dr. N.M. Veerayan with a great vision to transform each individual into a balanced and mature person with a sound body, mind, and spirit. Sir's passion, dedication, and leadership are an unending source of inspiration to all of us. A hearty welcome to you, sir. A warm welcome to our directors, Dr. Savita and Dr. Rajesh, who make sure that no stone is unturned when it is about providing opportunities to our children. Their guidance and leadership has made us one of the best CBSE schools in Chennai, winning the #1 school award from Times 4 times consecutively. This Pupil Career Series is one such initiative from our beloved director, Dr. Savita, for the students of class 8 and above to make them aware of the various fields of study and as an answer to the biggest question in the student's mind, what do I do after 12th or what is going to be my career? They are now exposed to the numerous fields available to choose from. So this is the 6th episode we are into in the Pupil Career Series. I welcome you, sir and madam. A warm welcome to all the students and the parents for joining us today for this very informative and educative session. May I now request Mrs. Vidya to introduce the speaker, Mr. Karthik, to all of us. Thank you.
A very, very happy morning to all of you. Thank you, Lakshmi ma'am. So it gives me a great privilege to read about Karthik and to introduce about Karthik to all of you. Karthik is the Chief Content Officer for Wavemaker. Prior to this, he set up the social media practice for Group M India and also led the Digital Insights agenda. Before joining Group M, Karthik was the country head for the Nielsen's online division and also for NM Insight, the joint venture between Nielsen and McKinsey. Karthik is a visiting faculty in many prestigious B schools across India and a board member at ICOM, the premier global forum for marketing data and measurement. When he is not on his day job, he is a screenwriter and host of the Filter Coffee podcast. So a very, very warm welcome to you, Karthik. It's a great pleasure and privilege to have you with us. And before we even start off the session, I would just like to share one thing with all of you. When I read this bio, it was so crisp and concise, and I was able to remember those points on top of my mind. So thanks to you, and we are really looking forward how all of this is happening, and we are really looking forward to know more about the opportunities in this field of digital media marketing, which is considered to be the most wanted, the top 10 careers today. So over to you, Karthik.
Thanks, Vidya. I hope all of you can hear me okay. Thank you. Firstly, thanks so much to the school for having me, and especially to Dolly ma'am and Savita ma'am. It's a very, very big honor to be a part of an initiative like this by the pupil. Also, what an initiative, right? Like I'm when I was in 8th or 12th, I never had sessions like these, and I really, really wish I did. That would have given me so much perspective about this. And I've seen some of the previous speakers in this session. I have to tell you, it's very daunting to come after them. I'll try and make this as useful as possible. But thanks for sharing that video. I think the thing that struck me the most, the Pathonna, is the feeling of jealousy, actually. That I'm not a student at a school that is as forward thinking as this. Not just from the video, I've heard a lot about the people as well, and I think their approach to education is very, very different, very refreshing, and exactly the kind that we need today. I'm going to share a presentation because that's what most of us do, marketing people do. We communicate to almost everyone in the world through presentations. But uh, feel free to stop me at any point in time. There is no structured Q&A session. எப்போ வேணும்னா just stop me and ask me a question. If you don't understand something, or if you want me to say something again or explain whatever it is. No such thing as a silly question, no such thing as a profound question. So just feel free to make this a more of a conversation than anything else. I hope that is okay with you.
Yes, absolutely, Karthik. To just add on to what you just said, children, you can ask questions, but before asking, we may request you to raise your hand and then introduce yourself, and then you can go ahead with your question. We would want it to be as interactive as possible and engaging to you guys. Thank you, Karthik.
Thanks, Vidya. And since I'm on full screen, I might not know when someone raises hand. So you feel free to stop me when there is a question.
We'll help you with that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to now try and project my presentation. All of you are able to see this. Yeah. Excellent. So this is just an introductory slide. Of course, Vidya did a much better job than I can ever do of introducing myself. But more than all of these things, I wanted to actually talk to you a little bit about my own career. I think growing up, I was very excited about many different things. But to say that this was, I always knew that I wanted to go into digital marketing. Abhindradu was never there. It took me a while before I got into advertising. So I graduated in physics from Loyola. It's a beautiful college. It's a great institution. And I'm just going to share my screen again. Are you able to see my screen still?
No.
You're not able to, is it?
You will have to share it again. Yeah.
Okay. How about
yes,
now?
We can. Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. So I graduated in physics. I did my MBA. I was working in between for a year or so. My first job was actually in digital, but not in marketing. I was in a internet security company, and my job involved cryptography and encryption and ethical hacking. So, konjam bayangara technical sort of a start to the career. Then I had moved to the US, and I was in research and consulting for a while. I was in the business of RFID, which is radio frequency identification. Very, very different, distant world from digital marketing. Then when I came back home, I made a conscious decision to come back. I joined Nielsen, which is, as many of you know, a market research company, but it is also a measurement company. I'll tell you what measurement in digital is in just a bit. And that was my initiation into social media and digital marketing. And Group M, which many of you might not know, but it's a very big agency in the advertising business. So that I started in 2011. Why I'm saying this is, I think we all try different things, at work, and then we land on that one space, which we can at least call our professional home, right? In the video, I heard one student say that this is my second home. So like that, you finally land at a place in your career which you call as home. And while for me it happened almost 10 years into my career, I think I'm very, very happy to call advertising home, and digital marketing especially. So in the next 1 hour or so, I'll tell you about why I'm so excited about what I'm doing for a living. So with that, I wanted to quickly go into advertising itself. Nama digital marketing போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, it's important to understand what advertising is. Anybody, I'll just generally open up. Anybody wants to help me define advertising? What is advertising?
Uh,
Please
Okay,
feel
yeah.
free. Children, you
Please.
can. Yes, you can. Unmute and speak.
Sir, this is Sharaili Balakrishnan.
Hi, Shalini.
Yeah, so I think, in my view, I think that advertising is a promotion of our business or even ourselves, but through any platform.
Wonderful. I think it's a very advanced definition. Congratulations to you. It's very correct. I like the fact that you said promotion of yourself as well. Right? So advertising need not always be a brand. Yeah, it can be an organization. It can be yourself. It can be a film. Wonderful. Any other? There is of course no right or wrong answers to this. Any other? Anybody else wants to take a stab on defining what advertising is?
Yes, Sharili Balakrishnan.
Shirley,
You've raised your hand. Just spoke.
yeah.
Sorry,
she
I
just
just
spoke, yeah,
forgot
she
to
just-
raise.
No worries. Somebody else wants to try?
So this is Akshaya.
Yes. Hi, Akshay.
I feel that advertising is just to inform or communicate about some object or something. It is maybe to inform or to entertain you or just to communicate something through any form.
That's a great definition as well. I love you said inform, entertain, communicate. You know, advertising can have many different flavors to it. Right? It all depends on what the problem is. Like I said, there are no right or wrong answers to it. If you ask me, I would say that advertising is engineering the spread of an idea. Right? அதில் வந்து if you really realize I'm saying three very distinct words. Right? I'm saying idea because without an idea, there is no advertising, there is no digital marketing. Right? So that creativity, that core is in the center of it. I'm also saying engineer, right? Which basically means I'm saying that you can engineer how much the spread is. You can plan the spread of an idea. Right? That's where science comes in. That's where data comes in. That's where analysis comes in. Yeah. So it's a very scientific operation, advertising. You know, sometimes we tend to forget the science behind advertising. We always think it is probably about a great idea, but science is equally important. It's becoming more. Science is equally important. It's becoming more important, right? And I'm also saying spread. Right? Spread is interesting because not all advertising is meant for everyone. Yeah. For example, you know, if I'm advertising um, um, a medicine which is for senior citizens, heart health medicine, right? That's not meant for a 20 plus, right? That's not meant for someone in college. So I need to be able to target the advertising to that person. Right? So that's why spread is also important. What you see on screen is actually a good snapshot of the history of advertising. Yeah, it's a very difficult question, but I'm still going to ask you. The ad that you see in the center, it's part of a very good book that I recently bought. It's called Ad Katha. The book is called Ad Katha. What do you think that ad is for? The lady almost looks like a goddess sitting on a lotus with a baby. Any is a very difficult question. This ad was created in the 1920s. But anybody wants to try? I'll tell you. It is actually for Pears soap, Pears soap. Right? They wanted to symbolize how soft the experience of the soap is, and that's why the lotus. And how it is good for children which is why the child in the ad. Many of you who are my age, which is the early 40s, you will definitely remember um, the ad on the left. Most of you who are students would have never seen that bottle. Gold Spot used to be one of the biggest and the most exciting beverages in India, an orange juice. Right? And then, of course, on the right, you see one of the most iconic campaigns of India, which is the Amul ad. So we'll talk about all of this, but just to reiterate, advertising is the engineering of the spread of an idea. Right? I want to quickly encapsulate the three parts of advertising. We'll spend a lot of time on each of these, but it is important for you to understand that advertising is not one monolith. அதில் வந்து மூணு important part இருக்கு. ஒன்று வந்து is research, which is a lot of the science that I spoke to you about comes here. ரெண்டாவது it's creative. The third is actually media. Right? You created a great ad. A wonderful creative idea has been created. You know which audience to reach. Now, in which medium do you target the ad? Right? That's a very important part of the science as well. So over the next 10 minutes, we'll spend some time on each of these. Right? I want to start with research, which is one of my favorite subjects. Right? I want to quickly ask, before I go into this, can someone tell me an ad that they have really liked, which they have seen in the recent past? It could have been on the internet, it could have been on television, it could be on newspapers. What are your favorite ads that you've seen recently? Do you want to share some of it?
Sir, I like phone ads, sir.
Which one?
Phone
say
ads,
that
like iPhone ads, like that. They
iPhone
like
ads. Right.
to specify the features of the phone.
Why do you like them?
Sir, because they like specify correctly the features of the phone, sir. Like it's correctly specified.
Perfect. Where are you try பண்றீங்களா? Somebody else wants to tell me what your favorite ads are. Yes, Jasmita.
I like car ads usually.
Let Jasmita go first, and then I'll take Dia's question.
Car ads, sir.
Okay. Any particular car ads that you remember?
Hyundai Safari, sir.
Hyundai Safari. Okay. All right. Dia, did you have something to say?
Sir, I said that I like car ads.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. What I just did, no. இப்போ நான் பண்ணதுக்கு பேரு தான் market research, right? I immediately, yeah, Akshaya, please go for it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I personally like that Google Ads thing which comes on YouTube. I like it because it has a very catchy song.
Oh, wonderful. Which ad is this?
Google Ads.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful.
We have Alvin Solomon who has just texted in the chat like he likes medical ads.
Oh, that's a very interesting, very, very unique taste. I would love to ask Alvin if there's any particular ad that he remembers.
Alvin, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Sure.
That's fine. That doesn't matter. But important feedback. Okay. இப்போ நான் பண்ணேன் இல்லையா? I asked all of you what ads you like. That is a part of market research, right? Now I forget who, but someone had mentioned that the Hyundai Safari ad. Very interesting. ஏன்னா வந்து Hyundaiல வந்து Safariன்னு ஒரு brand கிடையாது. But there is a Tata Safari ad. So what I've understood is what is the recall. I'll just request everyone to go on mute if you don't mind. Okay. So what I've understood is that people recall the brand Safari, but they don't necessarily associate it with Hyundai. So this is a very important feedback for me as an advertiser. Yeah, great. So Arunachala has said Farm Easy ad. I love the Farm Easy ad as well. My 4-year-old daughter just loves the song, the Urvashi song in Farm Easy ad. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, I just lost electricity where I am, but I'm just going to continue. Okay, I'm going to now make this a little interactive. Can someone tell me what do you see on screen?
A logo.
The logo of Pepsi.
Logo
It's
of
the
Pepsi.
logo.
Of Pepsi, sir.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It is Pepsi. And what is this the logo of?
Horlicks.
Excellent. Very, very sharp students in the audience today. Last question in this. What is this?
Nike, sir.
Nike, sir.
Nike, sir. Nike.
Nike. Yes. Excellent. Great recall. And because we are doing this in Chennai, I have to ask you what is this?
Chennai Super Kings.
CSK.
Kings, sir.
CSK.
Sir, Chennai Super Kings.
Excellent. I think on hindsight now, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா I should have set it up. But the point I'm trying to make is market research is extremely important. So there are 2-3 areas of market research, right? One area is, has the communication reached the audience? இப்போ நம்ம இந்த Tata Safari feedback பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? Someone said it's a Hyundai Safari. It's a very important feedback. And someone said that I like the pharmacy ad, right? Which basically means of all the ads this person has seen, pharmacy is the one that this person recalls, right? So that is also important, right? Market research is very, very critical also to understand what do people think of certain things, right? I'll give you a good example. How many of you like this product? And
I like, sir.
you're like, okay. I want to hear more about people who don't like rava idli.
I don't like it, sir.
Sir, I don't like it.
I don't like it, sir.
I don't like it.
Excellent, right? I knew that rava idli is always a very contentious subject. Analda, I wanted to do that, right? Rava idli is actually it's an interesting product. I don't know how many of you know this. Rava idli was actually born in the 40s. And Rava idli story is basically during the World War, we sort of ran out of rice, and we had to innovate, to create our daily breakfast, and that was the advent of Rava idli. But the thing is, for a brand like MTR, right, to know that why do people like Rava idli, right? Why do people not like Rava idli? Someone who said you don't like Rava idli, can you tell me why you don't like it?
It has many pulses in it, like dal and things.
It has
Understood.
many.
So
I don't like the taste.
I don't like it. I don't like the taste of it.
you don't like the taste
I
of it. That's
liked it when I was eating once. I saw a worm on it, so I hated it.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. That's a very important reason to not like a product. Where any reason?
It doesn't look good sometimes.
Right.
Modified
very
upma.
Correct. It is modified upma. So these are all fantastic. In fact, MTR is a client, and I'm going to share all of this feedback with them. Right. So what I did is actually market research, isn't it? I understood why people like rava idli and why people don't like rava idli. Right. Now, if I'm, let's say, the brand manager for MTR rava idli, right? Now, what do I know? I know that people think that it is just upma. I know that people think that the nariya pulses irukku. People don't like the shape, right? So all of this I'm taking back, right? And I'm going to I will come back to you with advertising which helps you probably overcome these roadblocks. Yeah, that is the function of advertising, right? I'll give you an example. கொஞ்ச நாள் முன்னாடி we had launched a product called atta noodles, right? How many Maggie fans in the house? Are there any Maggie fans?
I like it.
I love noodles, sir.
I like it, but I know it's unhealthy, so we stopped buying it.
That's a very good point, right? That it is very unhealthy. In fact, that is the core point, right? We realize that a
But
lot of
it's
people.
unhealthy at the same time.
Yes, yes. I love Maggie, right? I don't think I should tell this to students, but sometimes I don't care about the fact that it is unhealthy. I think in limit, if you eat it, I think it's okay, right? Sorry, ma'am, if that's a wrong advice. It is very tasty, right? But like some of you said, some people feel that it is unhealthy. It is unhealthy, right? There's no question about it. But there is sometimes a way to make it healthy also, which is why Nestle Maggie launched this variant, which is called as atta noodles, right? In fact, our line in Hindi was "taste bhi hai, health bhi hai." Right? So which is the ad line. Now the reason we created that ad line is because we did a huge market research, and then we understood that people are concerned about health, but at the same time, people also love the taste. Right? So Nestle Atta Noodles, Taste Bee, or Health Bee became the communication line. Right? So it is very easy for me to do this research, with a group of say 100 people on a call. Yeah, but it becomes very, very difficult. Imagine doing this for all of India. Forget all of India. Imagine doing this for all the people who are in Ranganathan Street at any one point in time, right? That will be like hundreds and tens and thousands of people, right? So other market research techniques are very important, right? Sometimes we do this as a survey. Sometimes we do this as a very large scale data collection exercise, right? From what people say on social media. Sometimes we do this on phone calls and emails, etc. So market research is an extraordinarily important part of advertising. In many ways, the first step of advertising is market research. Any questions before I go into the next section?
No, sir. No, sir.
Great.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. When you go into market research, you are also going into very hardcore statistics, right? Um, Market research, if you have to do it well, you need to be able to understand statistical models. You need to be able to understand. A lot of you are probably learning about probability, etc. Right? You have to understand those models. You have to be very good in math, right? But it's not a daunting thing. I love market research because I'm able to tell stories through numbers, right? Now, if I have to summarize this call that we had, I can say that most people don't like MTR Rava Idli because they don't like the shape of it and they don't like the fact that there are pulses in it. Right? I love telling stories with numbers. The other part of advertising, now we'll move on to the next part, the most important and the most visible part, which is the idea itself. Okay? This is also telling stories, but this is telling stories um, with an objective in mind. Right? I told you about what is the atta noodles communication. Right? It is about understanding that this is the challenge and then going and telling that story. So first step, market research பண்ணிட்டோம், we get the data, then we go into uh, creating the idea itself. Right? Sometimes when you see a great ad, right, you won't be able to believe what was the actual problem they were trying to solve. Right? Um, if you take, for example, glue as a product, right? Glue is such a simple product. Yeah, you find it in hardware shops across the house. Right? For someone to take this as a product and then come up with an ad like this, right, which all of you have seen and probably remember, it's an iconic ad. It's one of the ads from India that has won a lot of awards. Right? Come up with a Fevicol ad. This was done by a creative agency called Ogilvy. Right? That is where the power of an idea is. Similarly, other examples. I want to show you a video that I recently saw, and I absolutely loved this video. And I'm going to quickly unshare and share because I need to do the setting correctly. Just give me 1 second. Great. I hope you're able to see my screen. I did that because I'm going to play a video. I had to change the setting. Right? There is a brand called Doc Morris, which is this is a German brand, and the brief, the problem statement which we call as a brief is how to make sure senior citizens use wellness medicine, use heart medicine. Yeah, avladhan. This is the brief. So the creative agency came up with a wonderful ad. Some of you might have seen it. I'm going to play this video and then talk to you about how you feel. After the video starts, someone just tell me if you're able to hear the audio.
Sure.
Are you able to hear the audio?
Yes, yes.
Great. I would love to hear from some of you. What did you think of that ad? Did everyone understand the ad? What did you think of? Understand the ad? What did you think?
Sir, can I say?
Sure.
So I feel like this ad is a bit long because they might play it before, let's say, YouTube videos. Everyone's gonna skip it. It's like it could have been shortened by like a teensy bit, and also I feel like this gives a nice message to whoever watches this ad.
I love it. That's a very, very specific. Feedback. Anybody else who wants to share your thoughts, emotions on this ad? So this is one of the.
Sorry, sir. I feel it is a very touching ad, and it may be an inspiration to other old people out there who see this, because many of the senior citizens, they'll be like, I cannot carry it, and they just leave it off. So I guess it's a good inspiration.
Very, very nice way
Sir,
of
may
saying
I?
it, Akshay. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Samriti. So I think that the ad was very good. It was very emotional or sentimental. And that's why I would like to say it was very creative, because it kind of plays with those sentimental people's mind, and it kind of convinces them to buy the product because it has played with the sentiments which has convinced them to buy the product. So it's a good ad mostly because it's creative, in my opinion.
That's wonderful. I love how you summarized it, Samriddhi. Yeah, I think most of us are. The reason I chose this ad is this is one of the most celebrated ads of 2020. This ad was released last Christmas. This is, of course, in Germany and in the Eastern European belt. And like you rightly said, it was very creative, right? And this is where I feel the power of an idea really comes through. The market research for this. What was this brand trying to do? When they did a market research, they understood one thing, right? And a lot of you probably live with grandparents, and you probably know this. Grandparents அவங்களுக்காக ஏதாவது பண்ணு அப்படின்னா பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. But if you do it for the benefit of their children or their grandchildren, then they will readily do it. So the ad, there was a line towards the end which says that you need to be well for you to be able to spread joy for your family. So you have to take care of yourself. I think so. It was an insight. It was something that they understood about the audience, and that is where the idea came from, right? That you have to be fit and healthy for you to spread joy with your family. Right? So that is the interplay between what you do in research and how it can come out beautifully as an idea. So in the idea create பண்றது தான் it's a job of a creative agency, right? Which is the second step. Right? Now creative agencies there are many in India. There is an agency called Ogilvy. There is an agency called McCann. There are so many wonderful agencies, right? That's a separate career in itself, right? Some of you might know of this gentleman called Piyush Pandey, right? Who was one of the biggest advertising organizations of our country, right? I want to also talk about some very popular ads that we might all recognize, right? This is one of the brands which was trying to do something which is as simple as, hey, how do I ensure that people understand? I have an app. How do I ensure that people understand that on our platform there is no minimum order? வந்து 10 ரூபாய் கூட ஆர்டர் பண்ணலாம், இல்லைன்னா 1000 ரூபாய் கூட ஆர்டர் பண்ணலாம். How do I get this message across, right? And then the eventual communication was this. How many of you remember the brand? One person at a time.
Swiggy.
That's right.
Sir, it is Swiggy, sir.
Yes. Many of you remember Swiggy, yeah. So Swiggy is the ad, the problem that we were trying to solve. Okay. So being in a creative agency is a wonderful job. Right? You every day you are creating ideas like this. Every day you are solving problems like this. Right? And it is not always just a brand. The money brand is the work on. There is also this. When India was grappling with the problem, right? How do we invite big companies globally to come and set up factories in India? Right? Why should they set up factories in India? Because a lot of people will get jobs. The cost of the product will come down for us, right? And generally, our economy will be in very good shape. Yeah, it's good if there are many factories and many companies in India. So, as a government, we were all trying to, and we were advising the government in terms of how should you start something like this, right? அதுலேருந்து வந்தது தான் இந்த initiative. Do any of you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
It's the Make in India symbol. It's
Made in India.
Hey, that's
Made in
very
India.
impressed. Very impressed. Hey, this is the very famous
Logo for Made in India.
Make in India. You're right, Kritika. Yes. So, on the problem or a solution, Make in India, which of course all of you got it right. So this is sometimes, ஒரு creative ad ஒரு வீடியோவா தான் இருக்கும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. It need not be always as a television commercial or like someone said, a YouTube video ad. Sometimes your work as a creative agency could also be creating a logo, right? creating a line like Make in India, or both together? Or somebody saying something? Was there a question? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on. We spoke about two parts இல்லையா? முதல்ல வந்து நம்ம மார்க்கெட் ரிசர்ச்னா என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறமா ரெண்டாவது வந்து we saw what an idea is, what a creative agency does, right? Then you move on to the third part. What does a media agency do? Because I told you there are three parts to this. Yeah, research. So research பண்ணிட்டோம், we have a great problem. அதுக்கப்புறம் great idea. இப்போ ஆடும் கிரியேட் பண்ணியாச்சு. Now what do? We need to put it in the right place. Yeah. How many of you here play games online? Tell me some favorite games that you play.
For me, sir, I play Roblox.
For me, sir, I play Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft. Okay, I love Minecraft. Where are the games?
Sir, I play
Sir, there's one
Fortnite.
name. The Brawl Stars, sir.
Someone said Fortnite. I heard it. What other games do you play? Quick Draw. Yeah. Right. Oh, GTA 5. That's Grand Theft Auto.
They are.
Excellent. Oh, this is a wonderful gaming group. I'm very, very happy. I'm a big gamer myself. I play a lot of Dota, and I play Fortnite and a few other games, right? So it's important, like, for example, if someone has to reach me, right? They have to reach me in the medium that I'm playing in, right? Some of you might be old enough to be on social media. Yeah, some of you might be old enough to be on, say, an Instagram. Some of you probably are spending time in YouTube, right? And your parents are spending time in these platforms as well. So எந்த கம்யூனிகேஷன் வந்து யாருக்கு கரெக்டாக போகணும் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் as a media agency's job, right? If I say that I'll pick one of you, Piyush Kumar. If I tell Piyush Kumar, this is 100 rupees. You have to put this ad correctly in the right place. Then Piyush might decide that maybe na television la vandu I will put 20 rupees. Maybe on digital la, YouTube la I will put 20 rupees. And then maybe on Fortnite I'll put 60 rupees, right? Then maybe I'll reach the right audience, right? So that is media agency. Idukku vandu, for you to understand this, you have to understand the media landscape of India. We are such a big country and such a diverse country. I'll ask you a simple question. நம்ம நாட்டில் எவ்வளோ வீடியோ டிவி சேனல்ஸ் இருக்கு? How many TV channels are there? Rough guess பண்ணுங்க.
Sir, 2,900.
Let me ask.
800.
500.
Okay, I heard 800.
Nearly 1,000, sir.
Nearly 1,000. Yes, you're absolutely right.
1,000, sir.
1,000. Okay, excellent. I'm happy you're wrong, and there are not 1,000 channels. There are 850 channels, and this number is growing. Yeah, and if you take other countries, மற்ற கண்ட்ரியில் இவ்வளவு number of channels in இவ்வளவு languageல இருக்காது, right? They might probably, the US probably will have as many channels as India does, but most of them will be in English, right? So India, இங்க வந்து it's a very complex mix. Yeah, if I have to sort of reach, say, India, I have to reach in a particular language, in a particular channel that people in Chennai watch, and all of that, which is why media is very, very important. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let me ask you another question. TV பார்த்தோம். How many newspapers and magazines are there in India? எல்லா லாங்குவேஜும் சேர்த்து ரஃபா ஒரு நம்பர் சொல்லுங்க பார்ப்போம். 10,000. Okay.
500.
Arunachala says 500.
500.
I'd say there'd be about 1,000.
1,000. Okay. Any other guesses?
$150.
150.
More
Okay.
than 5,000, I think.
Must be
Right.
more than around more than 2,000.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna actually give you the right answer, and you will probably be surprised. right? In this, there are more than 100,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, there are more than 1 lakh different kinds of newspapers and magazines across the country, right? This includes, for example, those of you living in Mylapore will have one thing called Mylapore Times. Yeah, adum oru newspaper dana. Then you will have something called Anna Nagar Times. Then someone in Chhattisgarh will have something else, right? In rural UP, there is a newspaper called Gaon Connection, which many people outside villages don't read. Okay? Then Dainik Bhaskar and ஒரு group இருக்கு. They by themselves have about probably about 50, 70 different publications. Right? So all put together, and then of course there are international publications which are also sold in India. Right? All put together, there are more than 100,000 options to choose from. Right? Then if you go to the digital world, right? This is probably, I'll stop with this. You get the picture. How many websites do you think there are in India?
More than 50,000, sir.
More than
Because
50,000.
there are
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Because
so far
digital
I
media is a big
more than
part of our
50,000 reports.
lives.
That's correct. Digital media is a very big part of our lives. Who else want to take a stab
Sir,
at?
it must be around some 50,000, sir, because as so far I have seen there are so many websites.
Right.
Sir, 5 million.
So roughly a lakh, because due to India's population, for all the even small shops, they have their own websites, and even for overseas clients, you can have websites. So about a lakh.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to probably again surprise you with a number. It's 5 million. 5 million means 50 lakhs, right? And you're right. What you said about every shop will have a website, but every news publisher will have a website, right? And all of these, not all of these, most of these websites can take advertising. So again, I asked that question to someone, right? If I give you 100 rupees, you might say that I'll put 20 here, 20 here, 20 here. But now if I ask you to put 100 rupees on the correct websites across all these 5 million websites, for me to reach my audience, which is an audience like Kritika, right? That is going to be very, very tough. That is the art of media planning, right? So you have to understand across newspapers, across websites, across television channels, what are people watching, right? And in the ad வந்து எங்க வந்தா correct impact இருக்கும் அப்படிங்கிறது you have to understand, right? And all of that goes into media planning. Now, media planning now it's not just about what you do on a television newspaper. Sometimes a brand messaging could be outside all of this also. அதுல I'll just give you an example. Before I go into that example, this example is in the rural India, right? This is actually my favorite question in the entire presentation. And I've asked this in so many forums. Very few people usually get this question right.
More than 5 lakh?
More than 5 lakhs. Okay. Okay. Any other guesses? How many? 1 million. Okay. Yeah.
So 4 million, 6 lakhs.
4-5 million. Okay. Not bad. I think you're bang on actually.
Maybe 10 million.
10 million. Okay. You're very close. It is not the one who said 10 million, but someone else who said 5 lakh before that. It's a little over 500,000, right? 638 is a little over 500,000. These are villages. And of this, roughly about 4,45,000 villages are inhabited. Right? We have people. There are some villages which are not inhabited. So you go into deep into Chhattisgarh or deep into Himachal or Arunachal. There are a lot of forests, and they're also called as some village or the other. Yeah. So effectively, from a communication purpose, you are talking about 440,000 villages. That's a lot of villages. Yeah. And you have to reach these people through some mediums, right? And sometimes websites and newspapers and TVs are not enough. I wanted to show you about some other way by which you can reach this audience. Right? I'm going to play this video, and someone tell me if the audio is coming.
Diarrhea still kills 1.1 million children annually in developing countries. Lifebuoy believes this can be averted. The Mahakumbh Mela India 2013, the largest religious festival on the planet. Over 100 million people come here to pray together, live together, and eat together. Lifebuoy Soap saw this as the perfect opportunity to convey an important message. Always wash your hands with soap before you eat. Our medium, the roti or Indian bread, served with almost every Indian meal. And the only way to eat it is with your hands. We created a heat stamp capable of leaving a simple message on a roti. Did you wash your hands with Lifebuoy? And over 30 days, a team of 100 people stood in 100 kitchens, stamping over 2.5 million fresh rotis, helping us to reach out to over 5 million visitors at the Mahakumbh Mela. So, will people remember to wash their hands before their next meal? Let's pray they do.
So, I hope the audio was available.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that is another way of reaching the audience also, right? Sometimes it's not always through
Diaries
or through this. So all of this put together is what gives you a media plan, and that is very, very important. Right? Okay, now I'm gonna go to the core, right, and spend some time very specifically on digital marketing. It's important now for now that you know how advertising works. It's easy for you to understand how digital marketing works, right? But to understand why digital marketing is important, you need to understand India's internet population and how quickly it has grown. Right? The internet is not new in India. I think we probably started in the late 90s, and then we gradually moved. In 2010, we had about 90 million people on internet, and then after that, we had a big leap, right, around the 2010, 2011, when we crossed the big milestone of 100 million people. Right? It's also around the time I got into advertising, into digital marketing, and I remember Facebook's first office in India, we opened in Hyderabad in 2011. Right? And then the next big piece for me happened in 2017 when we crossed more than 400 million. Right? Between 2011 and 2017, the growth was just extraordinary. Right? And what has happened since 2017? If you see, 100 million வந்து 400 million, அதாவது 4 times grow ஆகிறதுக்கு it has taken 6 years. Right? ஆனா 400 million, 800 million grow ஆகிறதுக்கு it has only taken 4 years or so. Right? And I think by the end of this year, we would have been 820 million. And to give you a sense, it's not all of India. Yeah, we're at 820 million. If you take the population of India, which is at 1.2 billion, you still have another 300, 400 million people who don't have access to internet. But of all the mediums that are available today, the best way to reach every part of India is digital. Right? And what do people do in digital? That is important. Right? My bad. I am so sorry. There was a glitch in that animation. Roughly, in India, if you take as an average, right, people spend a lot of time on social media, right? This is global numbers, very similar to Indian numbers as well. Half of the time people spend on chat application. Right? Overall, let's say we spend about 4 hours on different platforms, and that's a lot of time. We spend a lot of time as a country on things. அதில் வந்து half 50% வந்து நம்ம வாட்ஸ்அப் அந்த மாதிரி, ஒரு 20% வந்து which is just close to about an hour or so we spend in watching video, right? And all the gamers, who said, who answered my question on gaming, around 10% of this time, right, about 30-40 minutes, India spends on gaming, right? Another 20 minutes or so we spend on other apps. So this is the digital marketing universe of India. Now, digital marketing, what are the different big aspects of digital marketing? One of the biggest aspects is search. Today, there are 4 billion searches that happen in a day, right? For a world population of 7 billion people, we are searching 4 billion times in a day globally, right? In India, that number is very, very high. So search is important because today, what is the first let me ask you, what is the first website that most of you go to when you get onto the internet, when you want information?
Wikipedia.
Google. Definitely Google.
Definitely Google.
Google.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, Google.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
need an immediate fact, then it would be Google. But if you need an elaborate description, then it would be YouTube.
Right. Right. That's a very interesting way of putting it. That you picked YouTube next. YouTube is interesting because YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in India after Google.
That
So
is the mail on YouTube, the second largest website.
excellent. Mail or YouTube, that's right. Mail is fairly big in India, right? But Google search எப்படி work பண்றதுன்னு யாராவது சொல்ல முடியுமா? Can someone give me a sense of how Google search works?
Something related to search engine optimization.
That's a very technical term. I'm very impressed that you know that.
So when you search, they crawl
Yeah.
the websites, they have bots,
Yeah, Sharil, tell me.
like they index the websites.
Okay. Anybody else wants to take a stab?
So, for example, if we have a project or something and we are
Okay.
searching for global warming.
So let me tell you. I hope you can all hear me, right?
Someone was speaking. Could someone was saying something? Can you hear?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can. Can you hear us?
Karthik, you're able to hear us?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I think
Yeah, there was
I
one
lost you.
child who was talking to you.
Okay.
So can we just proceed with the child? Can she complete her question?
Please.
Sir, in my opinion, Google search is like, for example, we have a project and we want to learn about global warming. So when we type global itself, all the searches will pop down. And if you notice below all, you will have the seconds and how much time it takes to show all the results.
Right. That was fantastic, Akshay. I think you did a great job of explaining how this works. Right? Before I explain, anybody else who wants to share your thoughts on how
So
you think
like
Google works?
when you submit a website to be indexed, sir, they crawl it and they get all the information about what the website is. And then when you search, they take it from the database and then according to the term you put, they filter it out and they show it. And the time is like how much time the bot takes to retrieve the data they have crawled.
Vishak, I think you have a wonderful future in digital marketing. If you end up taking it as a career, at your age, for you to explain things like that is amazing. Okay. Yes, all of you are right. What actually happens behind, right? Like you see on the screen, my search took not even 1 second, less than 1 second. Right? But what happens in the back is we saw earlier there are 5 million websites. Okay? I'm searching for budget phone. Now, budget phone could probably be part of thousands of websites. It need not be just on 1 or 2 websites. Yeah. But at the same time, Google also has the responsibility to give you something that is relevant, right? Um, and give you also something that is correct. Right? Someone has created a website in which they are pretending to sell phones and they are trying to hack you. Right? Google should not go there, right? So Google creates something called as a page rank. Right? I don't want to go too technical. A page rank, right? If, for example, if Reliance delivery website, right, that comes up as a first. And if you search string, you see digit.in that comes. Right? Now, what this means is that digit.in or a page rank is very high. That means a lot of people have gone there, spent time, and there is relevant information. So Google at the back end filters all of these 5 million websites into the relevant websites, which is credible information, and then gives you that. Right? இதுக்கு நடுவுல it is possible that if you are starting off, today it might be very difficult for you to get to the top 5 things in the search. Yeah, digit.in, that website has probably been able to do this ஏன்னா அவங்க ரொம்ப நாளா இது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க, right? If you're starting off today, you need to be able to feature. That's where ads come. Okay? So if you pay Google, and then Google will still verify the information on the website, but it will also place you visibly in this place. Right? So that is how search advertising works. And search advertising is one of the biggest parts of advertising. Today, more people are not searching on Google. Some people are searching in a different website. Right? And that is becoming a very, very big place to search. Can anyone tell me what that website is or app is? Not YouTube.
Wikipedia.
Today, if you're searching for a product,
Amazon.
Amazon.
yes,
Amazon.
There's Flipkart.
yes,
So there are certain websites depends on the things that we want to buy.
that's right, Nathan. That's absolutely right. Right? But today, the game is changing from from searching on Google and then going into people directly going into e-commerce websites and searching there. Right? Because I'm probably able to find a phone quicker. I know that I'm going to buy from Amazon, so I might as well search there. Yeah. So by the time many of you graduate and take up digital marketing, Amazon will probably be as big a search engine as Google is, or maybe someone else will come. You never know, right? So that is the big point I wanted to make. It's 11 o'clock. I'm going to try and wrap in the next 5 to 10 minutes. The other way of advertising is video advertising. Lot of you would have seen this button called skip ad, right? I have a 4-year-old daughter, and we often watch Frozen videos on YouTube. So the moment there is an ad, she'll be like, please skip, 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 skip. Right? And I'm sure all of us get annoyed with these ads. Some of us probably will enjoy the advertising also. Right? But video is huge in India. India watches roughly around 5 hours of video in urban India, right? And globally, that number is much, much lesser. It's only about 4 minutes or so. So video advertising is a very, very big part. And slowly, something else is becoming very big, which is audio. Right? Is there anybody here who listens to podcasts?
Sir, I listen.
Sir, I do.
You do? Oh, wonderful. What podcast do you listen to?
I listen to the podcast of celebrities, sir.
Okay, wonderful.
There's some YouTubers podcast.
YouTubers podcasts.
So
Excellent.
when my mother watches, I'll also watch it.
Wonderful. That's usually a very good idea. Where are the podcasts? Where are the names? ஞாபகம் இருக்கா?
Tamil, I watched one, The Biryani Man.
Right.
Sir, I
What-
listen
Stay
to
Wild.
And I
Helen
watch
Kelly's
Biryani Man
podcast.
vlogs.
Excellent.
Sir,
excellent.
there's
Hmm.
this YouTuber called Ben Azlart. He has a Stay Wild podcast that was released just a few weeks ago. I
Sir,
don't
even I
watch it,
listen
but
to
I know that this is a podcast that has been released recently.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes,
Dia.
sir, I listen to.
And Inia said,
Also, one more podcast I listen, sir. It's called So Relatable, I guess.
so relatable, is it? I've not heard that podcast, right? But it's wonderful that so many of you listen to podcasts. slowly, the reason I mentioned podcast is slowly audio is becoming very, very big in India. இப்போ நிறைய பேர் நம்ம வந்து வீடியோல தான் எல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். But very soon, podcasts and other types of audio will become very, very big. Right? There are platforms like Spotify. Some of you might have access to it. So
there's also Ghana, sir, to listen
there is
to
Ghana.
music.
Yes, to
And
listen
there's
to music.
YouTube music.
There is YouTube. Yes, and then there are platforms like Audible. Right. So today we take a book from the school library and then we're reading it. There are also audio books. There is a platform called Audible where you can just listen to books. You don't have to read it, right? So if you're busy, someone like me who's doing 10, 15 things at different points in time, I find it easier to listen to books through audio as a medium. So video and audio, they're all part of digital marketing. And like I said earlier, marketing doesn't mean just brands. Sometimes it could be self-help messages. It could be your own personal brand. All of them will use audio. And by the time, most of you get into digital marketing, audio would have become very, very big in India. The last part of what I wanted to talk to you about is also that advertising could be used for good as well, right? We call it as cause marketing. And this is a very, very important part of digital marketing. Right? So today, as we are going through COVID, so many people around us are facing a lot of challenges. Yeah. So it is important for us to be empathetic to all of them. If you're not familiar with that word, I would strongly recommend you look up that word, empathy. Right? Empathy basically means you're able to care for someone else. And what brands are doing is increasingly taking that approach. So if I'm a soap brand, if I'm a chips brand, I'm taking that approach of caring about someone, and that becomes my communication. Right? Vidya, do we have another 10 minutes or so? In which case, I will play
Yes. Please proceed. No problem.
Okay. I'm just going to play this. This is one of the videos that we had done a few years back for a brand called Dove, right? And this was only done as a digital marketing video. And why I play this video is that it's very important. The message is very, very important. And it is very different from what Dove does on television. Dove would add TV la paathiruppeenga. Adu vera maari irukum. In the ad is very different. And we did this to drive a message about what beauty should mean to everyone. Right? I'll play this ad and then I'll take your questions.
Dimple chin, rosy lips, peachy eyes, country hair, very fair, eyes are blue, lovely too.
Chubby cheeks, dimpled chin, rosy lips, teeth within, curly hair, very fair, eyes are blue, lovely too.
No.
So I hope the audio was clear in that.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. Yeah. So the reason I said this is there are many brands which have always taken up a larger good as the messaging, right? Like this was important because Dove has always stood for real beauty. There's no one definition of real beauty, even though we all have learned that that rhyme that we saw. And in the campaign Pere when they changed the rhyme, right? Because we realized that again through what people were saying on social media, we did an analysis and we realized people often associate our beliefs in beauty around what we read in school. Yeah. So Adnala, this ad was created like this, and this was a purely digital marketing ad that we had created. Feel free to stop me if you have any question on this. The other aspect of digital marketing, which many of you would have seen, and it is becoming very big, is called influencer. Um, as many of you will go through these next few years, and you will start getting into social media, etc. Collaborations is right? Um, you will see that some of you will have very big followings on social media. Right? It could be because you're an expert. It could be because you create very interesting content. It could be because you're funny. It could be because you have a great sense of fashion, right? For many reasons, right? And these people become louder than others, right? இப்போ சில பேர்லாம் நம்ம பார்ப்போம் இன்ஸ்டாகிராம்ல they'll have 50,000, 100,000 followers, sometimes even a million followers, right? If you take Prime Minister Narendra Modi or President Barack Obama, they all have like 10 million, 100 million followers, right? So they're all influencers, right? So they have to be very responsible of how they use their social media content, right? So brands also sometimes work with influencers and create content because it helps them reach more people. Okay? So that is a very big part of digital. And my last part of it, and I'll probably end all the case studies with this video. The other future that is happening as we speak is something called as virtual reality. Anybody here who wants to tell me what virtual reality is?
Sir, we are so basically I've done this before. Virtual reality, where you put on I don't know what they're called, but they look like
These big ones, right?
yes, goggles
Yeah,
or like what, something you put on. You can
yeah,
either
VR
slide a
headsets.
phone through or
Yeah,
something like that, and then you hold two sort of controls, remote controls sort of, and basically you feel like you're in another world because you're looking and you're doing stuff
right.
and you're somewhere else, you're not where you are right now.
That's absolutely right, Priya. I
Yeah,
think
It's
that's a
like a
fantastic.
simulated
I
world,
think
sir.
when we put a phone,
It is a simulated world, yes.
it's an app, sir. We have to put that into some kind of a goggles kind of thing. When we
Correct.
put, and it looks like a roller coaster. We are going in a roller coaster.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
so I tried it once and I fell down.
You should. I recommend all of you
Just
to,
sit one place and then only can do it.
yes. You have to be in a very safe place. அதாவது ஒரு level ground, ஒரு empty hall மாதிரி இருந்தா better. But you should try it. இதுல நிறைய
Also, like
advantages.
they have special rain sensors and fans and lights and all that, sir.
Correct.
So, like when you're falling down, like the fan will suddenly start coming, and then it'll be too cool.
Yes. See, இதுல
So
வந்து
we know it
நிறைய
is not real. We know it
yeah.
is not real. It is totally virtual, but then it makes us feel we are into that.
Yes, because it tricks your brain. You're right, Akshaya. It makes you feel
They seem
that
to
way.
be real, sir.
They
For
seem to
real.
be real. Yes, which is why we call it virtual reality. Right? See, virtual reality நிறைய application இருக்கு. Digital marketing is just one of them. Right? Today, see, gaming la வந்து virtual reality is a very big thing. Right? Those who are serious gamers, today you can wear a virtual reality headset and you can get transported to a completely different place.
Beat Saber.
So you can even play better because like you get
Yes,
your field of view is better than a normal 2D monitor.
You
that is right.
feel
And
like you're in the game, so you feel more determined to win, so you don't want to die because you
right,
feel like you're like there standing inside the game.
right. Yes, yes, all of that is true. But there are other applications. See, for example, there are applications in medicine. Right? Now, இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாள்ல வந்து we'll be getting into 5G network. Right? So, virtual reality, which today people, a doctor who's sitting in New York, is able to perform a diagnosis, right? A neuro diagnosis on a patient who's in, say, Coimbatore. Right? So because he's able to transport himself to that reality, and because the network is becoming so fast, right? In real time, he's able to see what is happening here, and he's able to then guide doctors, right? So there's a lot of uses, very constructive uses for virtual reality as well, right? But currently, you're right, in many cases, it is being used for entertainment. See, today, virtual reality is also an engineering thing. For example, I recently met a company, a startup, which is creating this for walk-ins, right? Um, some of your parents would have been buying new houses, right? அப்போ வந்து you will be seeing these houses in paper. இந்த மாதிரி hall இங்க இருக்கும், அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். You are at best you will see it as photos, right? So with virtual reality, you can actually walk into the house and see how it will actually be, how it will feel. Or if you're an industrialist, you can walk into a factory to see what will the design look like, right? Here, I'm going to show you an application, which is a marketing application in this video, which a vaccine company, which is in Brazil, had done a year and a half back, right? Which is again a great application of virtual reality. And this is the last video in the presentation.
Tirar a agulha? Tem uma agulhinha. Tem, mas é pequenininha. A mãe tá aqui pra te ajudar.
Quero, eu não quero. Eu já tenho 5 anos. É só você usar o Eu tenho medo.
Tudo bem, Luigi? Você gosta de super-herói?
Oi! Você voltou! Você voltou! Nossa, eu não posso acreditar! Ó, primeiro o pólen de gelo. É bem rapidinho. Vem cá, peraí. Pronto. Agora o fruto de fogo. Mas ó, vamos lá. Bem rapidinho. Peraí. Deixa eu pegar aqui. Vai, escudinho, vai, escudinho. Funciona, funciona, funciona. Obrigada, obrigada.
Caramba, filho. O que você acha disso? Legal.
É a primeira vez que eu vejo, em 15 anos da minha atuação profissional com vacinas, que a realidade virtual pode transferir a dor em entretenimento.
Ele chorou em todas que ele tomou desde que ele nasceu. E dessa vez não. Até achei que ele ia dar um showzinho aqui hoje.
Porque quando eu era pequena tinha medo, mas agora não tem mais não.
Because
Karthik, there was a disturbance in your audio.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Okay, right. I was saying that advertising is not always about someone saying, okay, buy this, buy that, right? There are brands which will use this also to sort of increase the product experience, make the product experience better, right? So all of this is there. I would urge you, in the interest of time, I'm not showing another video, but I would urge you to look up this video called School Bus to Mars. Right? It's a video which is created by this brand called Lockheed Martin, which wanted to educate children in terms of space travel. Right? It is a very, very fun video, very tech-related video to watch. Right? Now, the last part, of my session, which is okay, fine. You're very excited about advertising. Like, how do you get started in this? The good news is, unlike medicine or unlike engineering, advertising is not so much about you doing a particular course. If you remember, I graduated in physics, right? And my MBA specialization was finance and systems. So today I'm able to pick up advertising because there are many different ways of doing this. One of the best schools that is out there, I teach in multiple institutions, but one of the institutions I really, really love teaching in is in MICA. Right? MICA is an institute that is in Ahmedabad and which is dedicated to advertising and communication. There are many such schools like the Symbiosis is a great institute to do your MBA. Right? You don't even have to do anything. You can probably do your graduation and then getting into advertising by doing certifications that are available online. Right? Google has a wonderful education program. It's called Google Digital Garage, where you can just go in and then look up many, many different courses that you can read about. Right? And then, of course, there are platforms like Upgrad, etc., which will also make this very, very interesting. Right? So the good news is that there are many, many ways in which you can train yourself on digital marketing, on everything we just spoke about. Right? So what next? Where do you go with all of this education? Right? Some of the greatest job titles today, right, are, in my opinion, in the communications industry. It's also the most exciting time to be there because the world around us is changing. Yeah, 6-7 years back, we only had Facebook and YouTube. Today, you see the number of platforms that are there. Right? TikTok was there. Today, you have a platform called Raposo. Today you have other platforms. There's Moj, there's ShareChat. Right? So many platforms, so many places to learn from. So greatest of times to be in digital marketing. And some of the very interesting job titles that are a chief marketing officer, right? Or a vice president of social media, or a director of social media. And if you go into search, a digital transformation officer is a very, very important job title. Right? So digital marketing is very, very good from that perspective as well. Finally, if you ask me, so what are the reasons why digital marketing is a very exciting career? Right? I would say there are 3 or 4 things. This is just my interpretation, but I'll leave it to you. One is it has a fantastic blend of left and right brains. I'm a filmmaker, but I'm also someone who loves research and analytics. In advertising, I'm able to bring both of these things together. Right? Many of you will be very good in art. Many of you will also be very good in math and in music. Right? So bringing your left and right brains together, digital marketing is a wonderful place. Right? It also gives you the greatest opportunity to understand the people and the country. Right? In the examples, we spoke about Kumbh Mela, we spoke about vaccine, we spoke about technology, we spoke about beauty and understanding. Right? Digital marketing is a great way to understand communities and people. Like, I personally enjoy that a lot. It also brings you a lot of fame. Right? Digital marketing is also, it's not the reason why we are in this industry, but it certainly helps. Right? You're always in the spotlight. You're working with the biggest brands. You're working with the biggest creators. So that is there. Yes, Inia, you have a question? Okay, no problem. No problem. And then, of course, for me, the most important thing is it gives me a career in popular culture. Right? If you take a typical day in my life, like tomorrow, day after is Monday, I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to work with the Ministry of Health in their vaccine program. And in the afternoon, I'm going to work with Cadbury's, which has a brand called Fuse, which wants to get into esports, which is gaming. Right? I'm going to tell them how Fuse can go into Dota. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to be working with Tata Tea, which is a brand which is into, which is helping people with a larger social messaging, right? And then in the evening, I'm working with Mintra, which is trying to develop fashion, right? So in the same day, you can see how different parts of cultures I'm able to absorb and take, right? Which is why I love what I do. Right? So I'm going to stop there. Thank you so much, and let me know if you have any further questions.
Sir, this is Akshay BS of class 8.
Yes, actually.
Sir, I have two doubts. The first one is, sir, why do they keep that skip ad option when the ad itself is paying YouTube for having it? They aren't doing justice, right?
You're right.
Sorry, can you just switch on your video, Akshaya, when you're asking the question?
Yes,
And I think all of you can switch on your videos so that we can see each other. You can all switch on your videos. Yes. Yeah, Akshaya. Yes.
Yes, yes. So why do they have that skip ad option? If we have it, the normal psychology is that we'll want to, go on with the video. So
Right. So the reason they have is the reason you go to YouTube, right, is because you're able to consume great content. Yeah. The moment a platform forces you to watch a video, then you might not enjoy YouTube as much. Right? So platforms always have to make this distinction between what they are fundamentally for. YouTube உடைய வேலை வந்து it's to inform you, it's to educate you, it's to entertain you. அதுல advertising you should always have the option should always be with the user. A user should decide whether I want to see this ad or not. It should not be forced. அதான் that is the difference between digital marketing and TV. டிவில நம்ம forward பண்ண முடியாது இல்லையா, ad நம்ம பார்த்தே தான் ஆகணும். So in digital you have that option.
thank you, sir. And the second doubt is, sir, are 3D movies and all with those glasses, are they same as the virtual reality?
No, they're not. No, they're not. Movie glasses வந்து நீங்க பார்க்குற ஸ்க்ரீன்ல it is just helping you. If you take off your glasses and watch 3D films, they will look very weird, right? Because the RGB is the way it is constructed is very different. Right? VR வந்து it is simulated, right? Virtual reality is it's not actually what you're looking at. It is actually transporting you to a different world. So there is a lot of other things involved. So that is a very different class. But since you asked this question, Akshaya, if some of you want to try virtual reality, you don't always have to invest in very expensive headsets. There's something called as Google Cardboard. Right? If you can get your hands on that, I think it is available in some places. It is just a cardboard and you can put your phone on it and you can still probably enjoy some content.
Yes, I'll definitely try. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Or I don't use apps to hear a story or something. I use Google Mini to hear.
You use what?
Google Mini, sir. Google Mini.
Okay. Okay.
So good.
That's a good way to do it.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, Asa. You were saying something?
Sir, you like ads in the paper or like making video ads, sir? Which one do you prefer?
Do I like ads on paper?
Sir, you like ads on paper or like television ads, like the video ads?
Oh, me? What do I make? All of them.
Sir, what you like?
Oh, what I like. Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you very well. What I like, I have I don't know, I'm slightly more partial to ads on newspapers, print ads, like we call it. They are that's the oldest form of advertising. Yeah, 1920 that's the only thing we used to do. So I'm partial to that. But I spend most of my time creating ads on the digital side, like the video you saw, that sports video that you saw for Dove. That's where I spend most of my time. Okay. How about you? What kind of ads do you like?
Sir, I like videos. Sir.
You like videos?
Yes, sir.
Sir, may I ask a doubt?
Please.
This is Ria, sir, of class 8.
Hi there.
Hello, sir. Which made you decide that you wanted to be in this field, digital media marketing?
Actually, for me, it happened accidentally because I was leading the digital division of a company, and then they wanted me to take this role. Apada, I was trying it out. But the right answer I should give you is, why do I continue to be in this business? அது வந்து நான் 4 points சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, அதில் வந்து ஒரு point I had said left brain and right brain. Let me actually explain that to you. Okay? There are two parts to our brain. Okay? One வந்து is very analytical. It is the part of your brain which helps you solve math problems. It's the part of your brain that helps you solve, science problems, all of that. Right? There is another part of our brain which is completely creative. Right? நம்ம மியூசிக் ப்ளே பண்ணும்போதோ, or when we are painting, or when we are singing, creative நம்ம என்ன பண்ணும்போது that part of the brain. Okay? So to me, like that's what I meant by left and right brains. Okay? So advertising and digital marketing helps me bring both of them together. Right? In the same day, I'm able to do both. And I feel I'm very lucky. Many people don't have that advantage. Yeah, they don't have that privilege. So that's why I continue to be in digital.
Oh, great, sir. That's very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alvin is asking me, do I prefer to see ads or skip it? See, because I am from the industry, because I know that a lot of people have put time and effort and blood and sweat into creating the ad, I usually respect it by watching the ad. But I'm not advising you to do the same, but I am partial that way. Plus, I really enjoy ads. I find them sometimes very informative. Sometimes I find them very, very entertaining. All of it. How many of you have seen the Rahul Dravid ads for trade recently?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Me too, sir.
That's my personal favorite.
Excellent, excellent, right? So that's one of the ads that I saw recently, which I really, really liked. Yeah. Do any of you want to share anything else? It need not be a question. It could just be a thought.
Sir, my grandpa, he was in advertising in newspaper. He would print in newspaper.
Oh wow! You must be really proud of him. Yeah.
News today.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to know. If you're interested, I'll there's some very lovely books on the history of advertising. Right? There's a book called Ad Katha, Adkatha. It's a book that talks 1920s lane every advertising on this. It has a lot of interesting pictures. You might find it very interesting to read.
Sir?
Yes.
I have noticed usually the short ads they have like a video will play after ad because it's very short, so like you can see it anyway. I guess it's like very short, so it doesn't take much of your time. But the longer ads, after 5 seconds they'll say skip ad, and I think they give 5 seconds to just have like like a preview of the ad, I guess, to just see it and see if you want to see it for like you want to see the whole ad or do you want to just skip it.
Right. And sometimes ads need not be just video, right? There are games, and within games sometimes there are brands. We call that as an integration, right? When you're playing a game, sometimes you'll see a brand there. So that is also a very interesting way. That's not a video. It's not something you can skip. For example, there was this one game, I don't want to name the game, It's no more available in India. But அந்த கேம்ல வந்து நீங்க போயிட்டு இருக்கும்போது திடீர்னு you can take Mountain Dew or something like that, right? It's as a character you can pick that up. So அந்த மாதிரி கூட advertising இருக்கு.
Maybe we'll take the last. Yes, dear. Go ahead. This would be the last
This
question
is
that we'll take in Karthik.
Sure.
This is Samriddhi
Yes,
of grade 8, sir. So actually, I have two doubts. Firstly, you posted, infographics which mentioned the average screen time in India and on for what they utilize the screen time. So how do you derive the information for these infographics, sir?
That's a wonderful question. How do we get these numbers? So there are some things called as industry associations. Right? So digital marketing industry, there is an association. Okay. So think of it like your residence welfare group, apartment colony, there'll be an association. Yeah. So think of it like that. And just like all the houses in the colony are a part of that association, Google, Facebook, Instagram, they will all be part of the industry association. I'm part of many industry associations myself. So in the industry association, the people will share. So Facebook will share their numbers with them. Hey, they'll say that we've got these kind of numbers. It's easy for Facebook to know. Yeah, they'll take it from their own servers. Download a servers, then they'll take it. So like that, everybody gives it to the association. The association then formulates these numbers, this infographic they created. Okay. So then they put it out saying, hey, this is how India is spending on it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem. There's an association called Mobile Marketing Association, and there are many others like that.
Thank you.
I think we have a question. Why do they give surveys in YouTube?
Oh, it's very important. Very important, right? And I will always urge you to fill up surveys in whichever way, whenever you encounter it. Yeah, survey is the only way by which people know the feedback of the audience. Yeah. So when you fill up a survey on YouTube and you say that I like this, I don't like this, then you will get more ads that you are, or rather more communication that you like, right? So for systems to become better, feedback is very important, and feedback it comes through surveys, right? So for example, at the end of this session, I would love to know what parts of my presentation you liked, what parts of my presentation you did not like, right? So that when I do it again, I can become better. So that is called as the feedback loop. So survey is very important.
Sir, I have a question to ask.
Sure.
Mostly in most of the ads, they show celebrities promoting some products like you have to do this. You have to do this. Is there any psychology behind that?
A huge psychology behind it. I am not a big fan of that psychology, but enough of it. It's the reality that we say. See, if I tell you that you should buy Hyundai car, right? You'll be like, does he know enough to say? You'll question it. If Shah Rukh Khan comes and says buy Hyundai, like Shah Rukh Khan is solta, then I'm allowed to buy it. Right? It'll become like that. But going at a slightly scientific level, right? What happens is, if I ask you what are some of the ads that you remember, you tend to remember ads with a celebrity more. Not just a celebrity. We also spoke about influencer marketing. Yeah. You tend to remember what a popular person has said more, because we are consuming so much information in a given day. Yeah, today there is this. I'm sure after this, you'll all go and probably play, have lunch, and then read, do your homework, and all of that. Yeah, so much information coming in. Recall is very critical, and it helps to have a celebrity or someone you know, someone who's familiar, to carry the message.
Thank you, sir.
So, I guess we have answered all the questions. Over to you, Lakshmi ma'am.
Yeah. So I think we are at the end of the program. So as Mr. Karthik said, children, would you want to give any feedback? Is there any feedback you want to give?
I enjoyed the
Very good. Okay.
It was
It was
great.
very interactive.
Thank you very much. It was a very interactive session, and I personally loved that video part in which we were able to relate better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Archita.
You got to know
really
our
enjoyed
parents
the
very much.
This
session.
was a very interesting session, sir.
So you are
I enjoyed the
getting
session
thumbs up.
thoroughly. It was very illuminating, and I got to know much more about digital marketing and advertising. And, yeah, it's my interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir.
So
That's
there is a
wonderful.
lot of
First of all, you were
smileys coming up for you. So
Let me ask you this. What did you not like very much about the trip? What could have been?
anything that I liked.
You feel free. It's absolutely fine. I mean, that part, you spend too much time. This part, you could have spent more time. I didn't like that example.
Nothing to say like that.
Sir,
Yes.
it shouldn't have been this perfectly explained.
You're very smart. Give up.
so too perfectly explained that they don't find anything which is not interesting.
I'll take it as feedback. But that's very kind of you. Thank you.
So as we come to the end of the program, thank you so much, Karthik. It was such an interesting and informative session. I think it was very, very engaging. And also they had a small science lesson also in that, left brain, right brain. So I think, they are sure to look into and find more information about it and try to, do more activities which will, engage both the brains, so it becomes easier for them. Yeah. And I would like to thank Dr. Savita for such a initiative. The entire pupil career series, which was her brainchild, giving them the opportunity to know about a lot of different aspects of their careers
Yes.
could be there. Yeah, and I would like to thank Mrs. Dolly Mohan, principal, because we keep disturbing her whether it's day or night, and for all her support. Thank you so much, ma'am. And definitely our children and their parents for being with us today and asking very nice questions and making this very interesting and engaging, because without you and not interacting, definitely this this program would not have been so successful. And I think Karthik loved the entire session, and we loved your session, Karthik. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for giving me the energy to go through this. Your questions were superb, was wonderful, and again, thank you so much for having me. It's actually such a big privilege. Thank you.
So that is something which keeps us going. The energy these little ones give us, no? And I think children, you should also thank him for having come down to your level. We did not feel like we were interacting. I'm including myself. We were interacting with an adult. You really came down to their level. And I felt nice listening to all of them during the past 1.5 years. They have grown so much. They are away from us, but still, at least virtually, we are able to connect and see them grow. And now, children, now all of you can give a big smiley to Karthik sir for having kept us all, infotained during this session. Yes? So that tells you, Mr. Karthik,
Yes,
you will have to come back to us again when we resume normalcy.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Yes. You're always there.